Good day. We are here to give you information about our nervous system. To start with, let's have a quick recap about what a nervous system is. According to Dr. Anaya Mandel, our nervous system is a complex network of nerves and cells that carry messages to and from various parts of our body. Also, it includes two major systems, namely the central and peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system, or also known as the control center, is composed of the brain and the spinal cord. It is mainly responsible for the evaluation of information, and decisions are made in the CNS. While the peripheral nervous system is made of two parts, the somatic and the autonomic. The somatic nervous system, or also known as the voluntary nervous system, contains both the afferent and efferent. The afferent nerves are responsible for sending information to the brain and spinal cord, while the efferent nerves are responsible for sending information from the brain. Nerves in the somatic nervous systems are classified based on their location. For the somatic, it has two major nerves, the cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Cranial nerves sends information to the brainstem or from the brainstem to the periphery, while spinal nerves sends sensory information from the periphery to the spinal cord and muscle. On the other hand, here we have the autonomic nervous system, or also known as the involuntary system. This system regulates certain body processes, such as blood pressure and the rate of breathing. This system works automatically, without a person's conscious effort. This system has two main divisions. The first one is the sympathetic, while the second one is the parasympathetic.
In sympathetic, it arises in the thoracic and lumbar regions of the spinal cord. Their fibers exit by the spinal nerves near the sympathetic chain of ganglia, wherein some of them have synapsing but some continue until up to the collateral ganglia. After synapses, then the postganglionic run all the way to the target areas, while the parasympathetic arises in the brainstem and sacral region, where preganglionic fibers exit to the brainstem to several cranial nerves and exit to the spinal via spinal nerves before forming pelvic splanchnic nerves. Parasympathetic ganglia are located near or within the target areas, and compared to sympathetic, it is specific and localized responses. For the sympathetic division, the action on target organs are: it dilates pupil of eye, inhibits salivary gland secretion, relaxes bronchi and lungs, accelerates heart, inhibits activity of stomach and intestines, inhibits activity of pancreas, stimulates glucose release from liver, inhibits gallbladder, stimulates adrenal medulla, inhibits emptying of bladder, promotes ejaculation and vaginal contractions. For the parasympathetic division, the action on target organs are: it constricts pupil of eyes, stimulates salivary gland secretion, constricts bronchi and lungs, slow hearts, stimulates activity of stomach and intestines, stimulates activity of pancreas, stimulates gallbladder, promotes emptying of bladder, promotes erection of genitalia.
The sensory input, integration of data, and the motor output. Sensory input is the response of the sensory organs. Neurons is a basic unit of the nervous system. Synapses form between the neurons, allowing them to communicate to other neurons or other system in the body. We all receive input to our senses via seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, and through our body-centered senses of touch, movement, and gravity, and body position. Each sense acts individually in union with the others to send us information about our environments and our body in each environment. Data integration is the process of combining data from different sources into a single unified view. Integration begins with the ingestion process and includes steps such as cleansing, ETL mapping, and transformation. After the brain processes the information, impulses are then conducted from the brain and spinal cord to muscles and glands. That is called motor input.
Human brain is the command center for the human nervous system. It receives signals from the body's sensory organs and output information to the muscles. The cerebrum is the largest part of the human brain and is composed of the left and right hemisphere. It performs higher function like interpreting touch, vision, and hearing, as well as speech, reasoning, emotion, learning, and fine control movement. The second part of the brain is the brainstem. The brainstem is the oldest evolutionary part. It acts as the relay center connecting the cerebrum and the cerebellum to the spinal cord. It performs many automatic functions such as breathing, heart rate, body temperature, wake and sleep cycle, digestion, sneezing, coughing, vomiting, and swallowing. And the third part is the cerebellum. Cerebellum is located under the cerebrum, and its function is to coordinate muscle movements, main posture, and balance. And just as I said earlier, the cerebrum is divided into two parts, the right and left hemisphere, which are connected by a bunch of fibers called corpus callosum. The right hemisphere controls the creativity, spatial ability, artistic and musical skills, while the left hemisphere controls arithmetic, comprehension, and writing. Each hemisphere has 4 lobes: the frontal, temporal, parietal, and occipital. The frontal lobe controls the personality, behavior, emotion, judgment, planning, problem solving, speech, speaking, and writing, while the parietal lobe interprets language, words, sense of touch, temperature, and interprets signals from vision, hearing, motor, sensory, and memory. The occipital lobe interprets vision, like color, light, and movement. And lastly, temporal lobe understands language, which is mainly connected to memory, hearing, sequencing, and organization. The brain is also composed of the gray matter and the white matter. The gray matter contains and composed of the neuron cell bodies and unmyelated axons, while the white matter are the fatty and myelated axons.
Reflex are automatic, fast, important to the human ability to respond to their environment. Conscious thoughts are not required for a reflex to occur. Despite of the magnificent information processing power of the billions of neurons in our brain, we need a lot to be done automatically. Example of reflex are stimulus detected by the receptor, sensory neuron, interneuron, motor neuron, and response to the effector organ. Example of a reflex is a patellar stretch reflex. Our spinal cord partners with sensors in our muscles called muscle spindles to keep track of where our bodies are in space and how stretched and contracted our muscles are. Stretching the muscles activates the muscle spindle at the end of the sensory neuron and starts the reflex, and it prevents overstretching of the muscles to compensates with the contraction.